If you're struggling with photography in 2025, I suggest to actually reframe it just like your composition. When I started photography, I used to be frustrated in terms of out of focus shots, or either the composition wasn't right. And that's when I realized that I don't actually need to beat myself up in terms of those shots, because those shots are just practice shots at times when you're just starting when you're just doing a photo shoot, for example, and you need to just do some practice shots just to get yourself warmed up a bit more. And it's also just like talking on the camera, for example, and I feel like with those just warming up, like talking to the camera and actually taking those photos and getting those bad photos out of the way, that's the main thing you want to be able to do before actually getting started. But I also felt like my work wasn't actually good enough until I actually saw others, and I'm like, oh, why isn't my work as good as this person? And that's when the comparison starts, and that's when you tend to, see yourself as like this person who hasn't got this figured out, either this person that's always been cursed with terms of bad stuff happening to yourself, which is not true. Believe it or not, it's happened to 90% of people when, they have this title of like saying to themselves that I'm this and I'm this, I'm this. It's like, no, you're not. As soon as you say that, that's gonna happen. And so I feel like with photography, for me, with just starting it and just taking those bad photos or out of focus shots and getting that composition, not so much, it's a bit like this a little bit. That's okay. It's all about practice, and at least you just keep on going. And I feel like if you are just this person who struggles a whole lot with taking photos, I feel like just to practice a bit more. Practice. Because that's the main thing. You want to be able to get that action out of the way, so then you can actually start to learn a bit more better, so then that way you actually have evidence. But then I realized that most of the photographers that you see online, they don't tend to have the best shots at first. They don't take it on the first attempt. They take them multiple attempts. And you tend to see that when it comes to like behind the scenes sort of thing, if they show that. But if they don't, then they're just really just trying to show you that they're the best and stuff, which, most of the time they can be, or they can't. But it's up to them. It's up to you to say if they're the best in terms of your mind anyways. Just like for me, for example, like I'm not the best photographer, I'm not bad at it, but I'm pretty good at it. So there's that too. And even like professionals even get bad photos. And the thing is, we're all human, we're all photographers, we're all creatives that tend to have, good days and bad days. And I feel like with most of the time with you need to be able to just cop those bad days and cop those good days and just start to practice a bit more. Start to practice in terms of the shots you're wanting to get and what they mean to you is the best way, in terms of like framing it as if it's a movie scene, framing it as if it's like this shot that you've always wanted to get in your whole entire life. Not to add more pressure to you anyways, but think about it like that. But you also got to start treating your mistakes as if it's like a stepping stone, like as if it's just like a level up. Like say for example you're at level 1, you just need to be able to just take that mistake to just level 2, and then that way you can actually get a little bit better, and then you got evidence just climbing up slowly. Not rapidly, because if you want to go rapidly then you can, but it's up to you. Because most of the time with people, they like to just go have this flow uphill, but it's mostly like this. It's like mostly like, ooh. It's like a chart. It's like a finance chart, let's go with that, like the stock market going up and down, up and down. It's always up and down in terms of taking photos or any other endeavor, literally. Even the professionals have that at most times. Your photography problems aren't just roadblocks, they actually are part of the process. Like, say for example that you say to yourself that I take too many bad photos, and then you say to yourself again, oh actually, even the pros even take bad photos. And then that way you can actually start to think like, oh, I'm actually not the biggest failure in photography, because most of the time when people are starting out, or either just getting into it, or either just getting back into it, they tend to take bad photos at the start because they haven't actually, figured it out most of the time. And that's still with me at times. Sometimes I don't get those shots that are out of focus, or sometimes I think I've got that shot, but then actually it's pretty out of focus. Like when I was taking photos of this movie shot of the American Psycho, there was about three photos that was actually about out of focus, and I thought it was actually in focus, but it's most of the time it's actually my aperture, and that's my mistake. But at least with the fourth attempt, I actually got it. I actually finally got it, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I don't need to stuff around and stuff. I just need to adjust my settings and do that. Even though I make mistakes most of the time. But a reminder to you is that every single time you take a shot, adjust it as if you're just adjusting your focus. And I think that's probably the best way to really put your photography in for now, because when you're just taking photos, just make sure your focus is just about right, and you know, if you make a mistake, then it's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. Like literally, when you're taking photos in bands, or either you're taking photos of sport, for example, you got like at least 1,000 of photos actually been taken, and most time, probably about 50%, probably about at least 20 to 30% of those photos will be used and then actually post on social media. And then you got the other 50 to 60% that have not been used. I think my maths is right, but it's okay. But yeah, you get what I mean in terms of just taking photos of sport, taking photos of bands. You want to be able to get the right shots and the right camera setting to actually be used and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to talk about camera settings today because it's too technical for most people, I suppose, but you know, if you want to get into it, I suggest to download my free guide, which is called the Camera Setting Cheat Sheet. It'll just be in the link below as well. That'll probably be about it. In terms of if you are struggling with your photography, I suggest to just reframe it. Reframe it like you're just, you know, trying to get your camera to be in focus. And in that way, you can actually start to take photos again and again. And don't compare yourself towards the professionals, because it's just a waste of energy, and I feel like comparing yourself towards them is not ideal, especially if you're starting out, because then you tend to go like, oh, my photos are not going to be as good as theirs. It's like, well, you're just starting out, my friend. You're all the way over here, they're all the way over here. So don't compare yourself to the other side. Just do what you want to do. Make your own craft and make your own style is probably the best advice that I can put out right now. So thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully not in a month.